Namaskar, everyone, and welcome to Desi Talk. I'm so excited for this episode. Unfortunately, we won't be having my co host Yeshu join today, but we will be having a guest.
Yes, no, she won't be here today. She's not feeling great. Hey,
Hello.
let me just introduce you very quickly. So, though Yeshu isn't here, we have an awesome guest who's going to be talking to us a little bit about Desi nutrition and like food and things you can eat in the summer. So, with me today, we have Mona Shah, a multi-platform storyteller with her expertise in digital communication, social media strategy, and content curation for Twitter and LinkedIn. She's a journalist and editor, and her experience spans television, cable news, and magazines. She's an avid traveler and a foodie. She loves artisan food and finding hidden gems, restaurants, recipes, and destinations. She's also a columnist for India Currents, so you can find her regularly on our website. Her column is called Dig In Meals, and she'll talk a little bit more about that. But welcome, Mona. How are you?
Hello. Thank you for having me. I am good.
How is this summer treating you?
Well, I have to say it's very exciting. Now I can meet people, go outside, stop cooking a lot. And so, yes, it's been fantastic.
Well, it's been wonderful to have you cooking a lot because that gives us a lot of content. She's put out a lot of recipes in the last year that are Desi inspired recipes. I know you did a really cool one on locals, like going to a local farmer's market and then using that content to create recipes, Desi recipes specifically. And one thing that we've been talking about, Yeshu and I, this month specifically, has been how to incorporate what we remember of our summers as children and like into our lives now. So for us growing up, especially, with this pandemic year, when we were growing up, we were going to India every summer. And so, or every other summer. And so this year, I'm sure a lot of people weren't able to travel in the last year and see their families and see, make those connections. So I feel like food has been a really good way to kind of connect, in that way because we haven't had access to it. So what are some things that you've done, you've made that kind of remind you of your upbringing?
Well, you're right. Food is such a wonderful connector, and we all kind of gravitate towards people's kitchens every time, there's a party or anything. And really, food is a way of just reminiscing, creating like these memories. I do it with my family here. I know I have a friend who does these cooking competitions, every holiday. And one of the things I've been doing, my mom passed away, and she has all these recipes that she's collected, and she wrote them in Gujarati, which is, the language that we speak. I can't read it. So I took pictures and I sent it off to friends, and I said, you have to translate. And I've been cooking a lot of that. In fact, I've shared a column where recently what I've been doing is, because the pandemic is over and people are able to go out and eat, there's all these trailblazing chefs in the Bay Area, and beyond, in New York. And I know that there's someone in Atlanta who's fantastic. She's created this space. She calls it the third space. It's kind of your
Mm-hmm.
house, your backyard, where, typically everyone eats. And then when you go out to a restaurant, she calls it her third space, where she creates all these homemade recipes. So one of the things that I kind of stumbled upon is, we just started going out to restaurants, and I said, let me talk to the chefs and see if they'll share, like, their like favorite recipes. And they've been awesome. So it's really Indian food, but it's not your typical paneer tikka masala or butter chicken. You get that everywhere. These
Mm-hmm.
chefs, what they're doing is they're creating recipes, and I've been doing this at home, and it's fantastic. So what you do is you say you have a recipe from, say it's paneer, okay? So it's paneer, everybody loves it. And what do? We grill it, We'll have a barbecue, we grill paneer, or we'll do paneer tikka masala or something like that. So one of the things that I thought would be really cool is to marinate the paneer in like a tamarind sauce, right? Very Kerala inspired.
Mm-hmm.
So you marinate it in like a tamarind sauce with couple of spices, like you put like red chili powder, turmeric goes in everything. I've been using
Mm-hmm.
this turmeric from this young girl who, I mean, she's young, she's 26. She started a business where she makes sure that it's
Mm-hmm.
sustainable, the farmers get like, equitable pay. It's been fantastic. So you do that, and so, a bunch of things like that have been, you know, very
So you've been
inspiring.
exploring, yeah, you've been exploring a lot of different avenues. So it sounds like partially you're exploring your culture and like where you come from through your mother's recipes, and in other ways you're modernizing it and you're trying to figure out what is like the Indian American experience with food as well. And I know that today we just published an article that's kind of related to what you're saying, about Chef Tyagi. I'm not
Tyagi,
exactly
yeah,
sure.
Manish
Tyagi.
Tyagi. Yeah,
Manish Tyagi, Chef Manish Tyagi, who has a restaurant in Los Altos. He's a Michelin star chef, and he's doing this thing where he's taking home cooked food and elevating it and not giving us, what we expect. And I know
right.
there's multiple restaurants in the Bay Area like that because I've gone to Eton and I thought that was really, really delicious. And
Yes.
he's doing similarly taking foods that are very like, what you would see
Yes.
normally and just changing it up, making you envision it in different ways.
And
And
watch
even
this
just,
space because he's going to share his secret recipes with us. So
oh, that
that
is
is going to be
so
so
cool.
cool.
Yes, if you haven't got to a ton, I highly recommend. And I'm also like kind of an Indian food snob where, I don't usually want to eat like whatever elevated cuisine of
Yeah.
Indian food is because it feels usually like overpriced. It's the same thing. It doesn't seem to be innovative. But with Itan, I definitely felt that it was something different, but it was still something I understood and I like felt connected to. So he was
Yeah.
really what he's doing I felt really made sense to me, and I'm happy because it is one of those things where you don't actually really hear too much about elevated Indian food, and when you do it's for like the Western taste bud and not for like it feels like you're trying too hard to fit into like the French cuisine or the
Yes.
like
Yes.
that level of cuisine. That's what we think of as fine dining, but I think Indian Americans and Indians globally are starting to find their voice in different ways. So, with that, I think we should talk a little bit about you because I know that you're kind of helping our readers and other people kind of get interested in being like an Indian foodie. And how did you come into your own? Like, how did you decide that was something you were interested in? And I know you actually came to me with your food blog idea. So how did you, decide this is something I want to do?
So this is what I've been doing practically all my life. I love food. So I work out like a fiend. I work out all the time and I eat like a lot. Um, so what I wanted to do is I love experiences. I think experiences just are richer than gifts. Really, they're like gifts that keep on giving. I know it's so cliche, but it's true, right? And so I have
It's a
always
very
wanted,
millennial thought. That's what the
isn't it?
millennial
Oh, do
think,
they?
right?
Okay, well,
Yeah,
see, I have braces
you're
now,
ahead.
so I'm like a millennial wannabe. But I think that it's how again, you connect with friends. I've always wanted to find out where the latest new restaurant is. Well, I love
Hmm.
ice cream, so what the best ice cream places are. And I don't want to spend my calories on eating like, in and out. And I know that people love in and out or whatever. But if I'm eating Mexican food, I want to eat like the best Mexican food that I can find. And
Hmm.
so one of the things I was talking to one of the chefs about that, and he's like, you're Gujarati, we should do a thepla taco. And so that is one of the recipes that he shares, like a tepla taco. You can do it with pulled pork. You can do it with like jackfruit if you're vegetarian, which I did with
Did you
jackfruit. It's
guys make
fantastic.
it together? The recipe? Did you guys make it
We
together,
didn't
or
make it together because I couldn't enter their kitchen. See, the thing is, I can't enter their kitchens, especially with all this
Mhm.
COVID and health regulations and all of
Right,
that
right.
stuff. Um, However, I did watch them make it, so that was
Hmm.
kind of neat. And then I recreated that at home. Um, so
Somebody responded with tepla taco sounds so good, and it does sound very good. You should check out the article. She has a column. It's called Diggin' Meals, and she just today published this one where she got this recipe from Chef Biagi on the tepla taco. So if you're interested in tepla taco, I'm not gonna lie, that's a tongue
I mean, it is.
twister.
It's hard. Tepla is hard to say if you're not
Tepla
Gujarati.
taco, but I want to do tepla taco or
Yeah.
tepla taco. It's just not happening. But anyways, yeah, if you're interested in the recipe, she's really laid it out step by step. It looks delicious. And I'm sure there's a substitute. I think you made it with a different meat, right? You made it with pork or
It's pulled pork that's on the recipe. However, you can use really whatever filling you want. I'm vegetarian. I found these shredded jackfruit in Trader Joe's, and
Mhm.
and it's also available in Sprouts if in case anyone wants it. It's already spiced. I think we don't want to spend. None of us want to spend hours in the kitchen, right? What we want to
Mhm.
do is, for me, it has to be a showstopper. Everything has to just be well presented. And I do
Mhm.
this every day at home. I know people think, oh my God, you did. I literally lay the table. I have like nice, presentation every day. And
Yeah.
I think it makes everything, and I take pictures of everything and share it on. My friends probably are sick of it. But
No way. I love seeing food. There's no way I'd get sick of someone showing me beautiful food. I think that you're getting some comments
oh,
about
I should.
yeah, so I don't know NRF 25, but they're saying, yeah, this totally makes sense. The roti or tepla replaces the tortilla and the
Oh,
sag and the
yes.
filling. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nitya.
absolutely.
Yes, absolutely, Nitya. You're so right.
Yeah.
And Nitya is someone who is now, after like staying at home this whole COVID, time, she started cooking and she's making all these cool things. So, it is, yes. Um,
Yeah, there's
Again, you
always
can
ways to
buy the
blend
teplas, okay,
cultures
people?
too.
Yeah.
Oh, you can
No
buy the
need to,
tepla
you
where?
can just buy them. Lots
Indian
of
store?
people make them, but Indian stores sell them. So if you don't want to make them because they are labor intensive.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the Bay Area, there's a place called Swami Narayan Temple. It's called BAPS,
Yeah, yeah,
BAPS,
yeah.
in
Mm-hmm.
Milpitas. And there's a
Mm-hmm.
lady that makes them and sells them. I find her, I bought them when I made my tepla tacos from her,
Her teplas
and
are the
they're
best.
yummy. Yes, and they are cheaper than the Indian store, and they're super yummy. I think she sells them in a pack of 10.
But you
So
also
that's,
gave the recipe to make the tepla. So if
oh
you guys
yes.
are really trying to be hardcore about this, and someone says Dulhan Grocery in Fremont makes a great tepla too. Yeah. So I
Yes,
mean, you can buy the tepla or you can use the recipe to make it.
yeah.
Again, there's so many recipes that Mona has given that are pretty good. Actually, I made one of your recipes myself for my dad's birthday. It was your first, I think the first one in your series called the
Yes.
Gulab Jamun cake. And I made that for my dad and it was a hit. Like I just decorated it with flowers. I didn't do like all the little things that you had, like the little I don't remember what they're
Oh,
called,
I
but the
had
little
I
like
had little
silver
hearts,
balls.
and I had little
Yeah.
hearts, and
You had
I
the little silver balls that you put on
yes,
like Indian
yes.
sweets,
I
which
don't
I
even know
don't know what
where.
they're called.
Yeah, I found these. Oh, Michael's. That's where I found him. Michael's had these little silver balls, so I did that. And you know what, people? Rose petals.
Yeah, so
I
I just did rose petals. I did that. I did what you said with the
Yeah,
rose petals, and it looked so beautiful, and it tasted amazing. So
yeah.
that was a good recipe. Definitely a lot. I think a lot
Comes
of people
together
tried it out.
quickly. Yeah,
Hmm.
because oh gosh, that recipe has gone viral. Everybody's tried it out. And I say if you have a special occasion, make it. It comes together in 45 minutes, really. I mean,
Yeah, it's
including
really
baking time.
fast.
It's super easy.
Yeah.
Everything I do is super easy and quick. So, you guys can
I will say
totally,
the recipes you gave this time for this last column article, those recipes look a little more complicated just because there's so many elements. But
yes.
I will say you have like all sorts of difficulty levels. So if someone wants to check out your recipes and pick one that seems more palatable to their experience in the kitchen, it's totally possible. I
And I
really
want to
love,
share with you, can you all see this?
oh let's talk about this recipe.
So this is, and maybe we can share a picture. I don't, here, wait, I'll move my camera and show you guys what it looks like. I don't know if you can see it. Oops.
It's not
Oh,
in the
here.
frame. There you go.
Ah,
There it is. Wow.
this is
Yes, it
so
looks so
easy
good.
to put together. So, I will share the recipe in the comments, but I also would just, if anybody wants to make it, really, it comes together in less than it takes time to preheat your oven. So, that
Yeah,
is,
so what are the ingredients? What are the steps? Let's go through them.
so the ingredients are heavy cream. Heavy cream makes everything taste fantastic, fried and heavy cream. So heavy cream. So you
It's
take
true.
a
Is
pint
it
of,
healthy?
it is fairly healthy because what you do
Mhm.
is you take a pint of heavy cream. So, the
It
little
is
box.
Mishti Doi, not kulfi. Just for the
Yes, it's
people asking
Mishti
in the
Dohi.
she's
Yes,
made Mishti Doi, so she's giving us the recipe for Mishti Doi now. Go
yes.
ahead.
So you take a pint of heavy cream, that small little container, half a can of sweetened condensed milk. You take one 24-ounce of Greek yogurt,
Hmm.
and then I think adding cardamom to anything
Anything.
elevates
Oh,
it.
so good. Yeah.
Yeah,
That and
so half a
pistachios. I think you have pistachios on there too, right?
there's pistachios which I've used for garnish, and so that's it. Just mix all these things together. So preheat your oven at to 350, right? And while
Mm.
it's preheating, you mix together your heavy cream, your condensed milk, your Greek yogurt, and a little bit of cardamom, depending on how you like it. A pinch of cardamom is what I would say. And then what you do is you put it in ramekins, kind of like this. This is the
Mm-hmm.
ramekin that I put it in.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to do a bain marie, which sounds very fancy, but really it's take a cake pan, um, fill it with water, put the ramekins in it, because what we want to do is we don't want to bake them with dry heat. We want to bake them with steam. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you put the water in a pan, and then you put these kind of in the water, and make sure that it's not submerged, just kind of a quarter of the way, so that in case the water starts boiling, then it doesn't fall into your recipe. 15 minutes in the oven, take it out, garnish with pistachios and rose petals like this,
Beautiful.
and then it's
Yeah.
kind of yummy and it
It
looks
looks
great.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And people
It
will think
looks
you
beautiful.
slaved over this dessert for a long time. It stays wonderfully in the fridge for up to about 10 days. So, you can make it 10 days in advance if you wish. Some people like it chilled, other people like it room temperature. So it depends on, what your guests might like. I'd say chill it, and then make it the day before, chill it, and then when your guests arrive, while you're kind of serving dinner, take it out, and then it's kind of mix between kind of room temperature versus slightly chilled.
Mm.
So I think it would be great.
So, for people who may not know, what is Mishti Doi? Like, where is it from? Why did you pick it? Give a little bit more background on the Mishti Doi itself.
Well, what I wanted, so Mishti Doi is a Bengali dessert. It is extremely difficult to make, apparently. And it's usually served in Calcutta in these earthen pots, right? And it's very famous in Calcutta. Everybody pretty much cooks it. What I wanted to do is I wanted to do something. I wanted to take that traditional recipe, but I didn't have time to like go through the whole
Mhm.
boiling the milk and doing all of that stuff. And so I wanted the taste to be authentic, but I wanted it to be a quick and easy thing. Um, you
Mhm.
know, um, for example, we have game nights. So sometimes we invite friends and we'll do a game night. And you want things that are tasty but quick to make. I mean, every week you're not going to slave over like, desserts that are going to take you a really long time. So the taste is very authentic, but it comes together quickly. And this is what young people want too. Like I have this fantastic like 15-minute focaccia recipe that you can do in a muffin pan. And I've been
Mhm.
sharing that video because a lot of my son is 26 and his friends are all like, we want to make focaccia, but we don't have like, I don't want them to go and buy equipment. I want them to use
Mhm.
what they have. I'm like, do you have a muffin pan? And they're like, yeah, we have a muffin pan. I'm like, okay, we'll do it in a muffin pan. And so this is something that I figured anybody has. I mean, you don't have to do individual kind of ramekins. You can do it like in a Pyrex dish or something like that. Whatever you have at home, really.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, quick and easy things, but showstoppers
Yeah.
really.
I think it the quality of the product and the accessibility of it is very important, especially because I feel like you are thinking about your son and he's younger. He's
Yeah,
probably kind of getting into the cooking or he's stepping into the cooking scene right now. So it's always overwhelming when you're first starting to have like 500 steps. And I think that's also a barring element for Indian food because it
right.
feels like you need so many things and you need to do so many steps in order to make it. And that is definitely something I like about your recipes is they never feel too overwhelming. The one from today a little bit more so just
Well,
because it's
today's is
from
shared by the chef. And what I
chef.
wanted to
Yeah.
do is he wanted to share pretty much everything step by step so that really if you recreate his recipe at home, it is going to taste exactly like
Exactly.
it
Yeah.
does in the
No,
restaurant.
and I think that's awesome. I think,
Yeah,
like I said, this is your column isn't just for one note. It's like all the different
yeah,
variations of cooking. But I think that it's really nice that, you're also making it accessible for the younger second generation because I think that is a huge element as to why a lot of, kids that are brought up Indian Americans that are brought up in America or globally elsewhere might not actually choose to cook Indian food because it just feels a little bit daunting.
it
So,
does. And like for
yeah,
example, gulab jamun. Are you ever going to actually make a gulab jamun? No, I didn't make
no.
it. I would just buy it. But the gulab jamun cake is something I feel like a lot of second generation, all my friends' children have made it. I mean, you made it, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's made it because it's easy to make. The taste, for me, I feel like it has to look good and it has to taste good. If both
Yeah,
those
I think
things are met,
the authenticity of what it tastes like is so significant because I mean, you can find that's why I'm glad that you're doing it and it's not, food.com or
right?
like one of those like basic something written by somebody that might not even be from Indian culture or whatever. It's nice that you know what it's supposed to taste like and then you're recreating it in a way that makes it accessible to the next gen. I hope though still I'm actually very passionate about food, so I always go to my mom. My mom, she does all of the things. Like I've made
Right,
gulab jamun from scratch with my mom.
right.
So I will like sit there and like try to learn as much as I can, when I'm with her, and that's kind of the way that I've been trying to learn. But I'm actually working on a story on, whether or not like what kind of demographic is accessing the ethnic grocery stores, so South Asian grocery stores in the Bay Area. And what I noticed was a lot of people my age and younger are not going, and that's because they
No.
don't know how to make Indian food, right? So you're the point of contact. You're like giving that information in a palatable way, and hopefully we can transcend beyond that. But
And I'm trying to include ingredients that you would find at home. I don't want you to go out and buy a whole bunch of things that you're never going to use. The idea is not for you to go, you would just go, do takeout if you needed to buy all these things, right? So the idea is that you have a few basic ingredients at home, and then we'll use that to make something that is really a taste of home. And
Right.
a lot of like I'm sure that all your moms, your mom, we all learned to cook by just pretty much, a pinch of this, I, the reason really the food column came about also is because I wanted to catalog all these recipes for my son. And I said, you
Mm-hmm.
know what? My mom did that for me. I mean, she would throw in things, right? But when she was teaching me, she started putting it in like a measuring spoon so that she could tell me that it's half a teaspoon of something.
Mm.
And so that is how even when now for my food columns, when I'm cooking, I really still want to just put a dash of this, but I take that
Yeah.
dash and I put it in. And sometimes I do say, just put a dash of this. And you know what it is.
That
And
is a lot of Indian cooking is like put a dash of that, put a little bit of this.
bit of
So
this
the
and
fact,
just throw
yeah.
that in, and I know, and then
But
a
I
lot of
think what you said that, I want to capitalize on that you started with, I'm bringing it back to that,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
that you started with that food is a connector, right? Food is like something that, especially in Indian culture, like things revolve around food. Everything kind of revolves around food. It's like, what are we gonna have for lunch, and then what are we gonna have for
yeah.
dinner, you know? And
Especially
sometimes
when
I'm
we
like,
go to India, right? That is just, especially the diaspora. When we go to India, we really just want to eat everything that we can lay our eyes on. We want to eat the pani puri and the bhel puri
mhm.
and, just visit all these new restaurants. And by the way, there's this restaurant that, again, is just has like all these memories for me. It's called Spice Club. And
Mm.
they are a Bombay restaurant. And, my son
It's
loves to
it's
go
in
to
the Bay
India.
Area,
It's in the Bay Area
or
now. It's in Santa
oh,
Clara. And
but it's a restaurant from India that
it's a
has a
restaurant
location.
from India that has now come to the Bay Area. It's called Spice Club. And Spice Club was really a trailblazer. They introduced molecular gastronomy to
Oh,
like the Indian audience. Oh, it was fantastic. I remember my son goes to India alone to meet his grandparents, right? And he the cousins would my mom would like want to cook everything at home, and they're like no eating out and all this, and the cousins would run away at night. As soon as my mom went to sleep, they would sneak out and they would go to Spice Club. So this was a big deal. So when Spice Club came to, our son lives in Chicago and he's actually moving back, and so
oh,
that is the first place that we said we're going to go. He's like, Spice Club, we have to go there. And that is, again, people stay tuned because I'm talking to the chef of Spice Club, and he's going to show us
how
how
can
to
you tell
suspend.
me? Pause 1 second. How are you
Yeah,
getting all these chefs to share their recipes with you? How is
I'm
that
telling
what's
you,
happening?
I am so charming. How can they resist? First of all, I go there
So
and
humble, so
I,
humble.
I'm telling you, self-esteem is not a problem here.
Yeah.
Uh, but yes, I wanted to know. So he serves dahi puri, and the dahi is suspended in like a little membrane, and the chutneys are suspended in membranes. And then you kind of eat it all together, and the flavor explosion in your mouth is like amazing. And then between every dish, you get a palate cleanser. The palate
Oh,
cleanser is so
wow.
yummy. I'm like, can I have two of those? And so you guys ask for more of the palate cleanser. It's really yum. It
So
comes in
this
a
is
little
at
cotton
Spice Club?
candy. Spice Club, and it's Klub. So Spice Club.
I'm definitely gonna go there. That
Oh,
sounds
you should go.
awesome.
They have
I mean, I
pani
will say
puri
the
in little.
Bay. Sorry, go ahead.
I say they have pani puri in little injections. So the pani you
Oh,
kind of inject into things. It's really cool.
that's awesome. Yeah, I think like the Bay Area itself has such a wide variety of the types of Indian food you can get. So living here, I've never felt this like absence of good Indian food that's authentic because you have really authentic South Indian food, really authentic North Indian food. Like I feel like you can kind of access what it is that you want here. But I definitely felt like for your son probably in Chicago and when I moved to Boston, it was like there was
It's not the
nothing.
same thing.
Like
Yeah.
it's not, there was nothing. There was just either you're going to eat, you're just eating like the classic things that whatever
Right.
people think of like the classic Indian food, like a butter chicken or chicken tikka masala. And I was like, I'm so far away from home, and at that time I wasn't really didn't like, because
Right.
all millennials were like not really sure how to cook
Yeah.
Indian food
Yeah. Yeah.
initially. I didn't have all the materials, so I was like, okay, I just want like something that reminds me of home cooked food,
Right.
or something that
Right.
reminds me of India. And it's great that the Bay Area has all these different, like Spice Club, which is straight from India. I heard another restaurant similar to that, not similar in the way that it's
Hmm.
gastronomy, but A to B. It's like a dosa, like a dhaba type place
Oh,
from India
really?
that now, yeah, it
Hmm.
opened in Santa Clara. So if you're interested, like, we're learning so much. There's so many different kinds of
Yeah.
Indian foods that you can get that are now coming from India, because they know there's such a high concentration of
Right.
Indian
Right.
people.
But but India currents, because the fact is that we are global, and we
Hmm.
have people from everywhere kind of, accessing our content. And I know that we are so well known in the Bay Area that, I mean, our events, people kind of, gravitate to India Currents to just find out Thursday what's going on.
Hmm.
And also we have like, people who are writing these columns, who are long time columnists, who have followers. And so, we have people coming to India Currents for specific things. But now that we're global, I think that that's why I thought that sharing these recipes, and also,
Hmm.
I've been sharing a lot of these staycations and,
Hmm.
experiences that people can have in not just the Bay Area, but, in other parts of like the country, and even some in India. I'm actually going to share this beautiful preserve that they have in Bombay. Now, Bombay is the only place I really know well, where you can take boat rides and go and see birds. Traditionally, we really never have that. Really, you
Hmm.
live in Bombay, and what do? You go out to eat, and you maybe take a walk. I mean, there's just thousands of people. Here, it's kind of limited to the amount of people that can go. So I felt like a lot of the experiences and the food kind of transcends just living in the Bay Area. Yes, the restaurant highlighting chefs, those restaurants are here just because I'm physically located here. But what I've kind of told the chefs to do, and all of these are Michelin rated Indian chefs that are really kind of pushing the boundaries of Indian food, is to share things that are freely available pretty much everywhere. We have
Hmm.
farm to table, and we have the weather here kind of is nicer for us to be able to grow our own food. But that's not the case where if you live in New York or if you live somewhere else.
Hmm.
And so we've been trying to offer substitutes, or offer, just suggestions of what you can
Yeah.
do going to your own farmer's market in any part of really the state.
Yeah.
And,
That's
um,
thoughtful. I mean, I think that's the next level of accessibility. One is that something that I can possibly make, and two, are those ingredients that I can possibly get? And so
right.
I think that's amazing that, one, that we have you, and that you're able to make all these connections and provide us with these very exclusive recipes that we wouldn't have otherwise. But I'm also glad that these chefs are willing to share those recipes, because like you said, it's like we're all trying to understand our cultural identities and all the ways in which we can possibly engage in them. And eating Indian food in different ways and modernizing it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bastardizing it. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
there's these people that are talking to you and telling you, like, here's a way to do it that will give you
Right.
the most authentic version, but also something maybe new, maybe something that you would want to try that's not
Right.
the day to day. So I think we should probably wrap up, because we've already been talking for 40 minutes, but thank you so much. If anybody's watching still, we had a Mishti Doi recipe that Mona shared that's hers. It's really beautiful looking, and I'm sure it tastes delicious. I'll let you know next time once I make it myself.
And
um,
I'm going to share it in the next column. The August column is going to have curry pizzas. I know that we all go out to eat, like, aloo chaat and pav bhaji pizza and all of that. I have shared a pav bhaji pizza in one of my columns, but I'm going to have the owner of Curry Pizza House um, share his secret sauce because really the sauce
Ooh.
makes the pizza. And then I'll share the Misti Doi recipe also, just because I think that this way people can have like the spicy pizza and then something cooling and nice in the dog days of August when we all want ice cream.
Wow, awesome. Yay, I'm so happy that you're part of India Currents. Her column is called Dig In Meals. She's clearly a very innovative, charming woman, so she's able to get all these things for us. So please check out her content. Also, I hope this wraps up our July theme of Desi summers pretty well. The recipes we've shared are for you to try. Please let us know if you end up making it and if it tastes any good. Any parting words, Mona? Would you like people to follow you or subscribe to you, or how do you want to market yourself?
Well, I would say please read my column in India Currents. And also, if you want to do fun things, then I have, staycation stories. So, definitely read them. I'm going to share all of those links in my bio, Mojo Explore. And yes, well, this has been great fun. So if you're making the recipe, tag me. And so this way I know that you've made it. And, I'm going to do a little collage of all the recipes and share it to my stories when I get them in. So
Yeah. If you've made any, I didn't even share my images with you, but if you've made any of Mona's recipes, please tell us. You can always email me at editor@indiacurrents.com or tag Mona at Mona or Mojo_explore, I believe, at Mojo_explore. So thank you again, Mona. Thank you so much for taking the time, preparing a recipe in advance, showing us how beautiful it can be, and for being such an inspiring presence in our lives here at India Currents.
thank you. Thank you. We're such
Thank
a
you.
wonderful family here. So it's been a great
Definitely.
pleasure. Thank you so
All
much for
right.
having me.
Of
Take
course.
care.
Thank you for joining me. See you all next week. Bye.
Bye.